Welcome to our Knowledge Management Community of Practice presentation. Today, we will look at staff induction and how to improve the transition of newcomers from outsider to insider through knowledge transfer. Sushma will open by introducing our topic today. She will give you some background and context to organizational knowledge management and induction processes. Linda, Ethel and Ivona will present a detailed comparative analysis of induction knowledge transfer practices and set out some recommendations. I will close by evaluating our collaborative work as a community of practice.
Hello, my name is Sushma. When we came together as COPs, we were pleasantly surprised by the variety of sectors we represented. Finding out about each other's professionally led us to agreeing to investigate knowledge management as a concept and in practice. So, what is knowledge and its power? It is data and information that you use and change and develop into knowledge from your experiences, what you've heard or read about, or just creative thinking. Some people who find workarounds is using knowledge. Knowledge is then used for problem solving, gaining more understanding, helping to make decisions. Ever been in a situation where someone is not sharing? Knowledge is very powerful, and today it is a powerful source for competitive advantage. In organisations, as well as having land and labour, IT and finance as resources, knowledge is seen as an intellectual resource, and there are three types: the human sort, people's ability to be creative; the social sort, social relationships and sharing knowledge; and the organisational sort, knowledge found in policies and manuals. And there are many types of knowledge and many views on knowledge which we won't go into right now. In today's environment, managing knowledge has become a key activity for some organisations to gain that competitive advantage. Some organisations provide sophisticated IT systems to manage knowledge, but knowledge still needs to have people participation. Some organisations don't know what they have, or even know what they don't know. For more on this and the famous known unknowns, check out the Donald Rumsfeld speech in the reference section. Most new knowledge comes from outside, through social interactions, conferences, etc., and this is known as absorptive capacity, where knowledge seeps in at all levels of organisations and is available to be manipulated for the organisation's betterment. So, how open are organisations to new knowledge, and is there an easy source? Question. Newcomers join organisations and get knowledge transfer and the organisational capital through induction. Newcomers get assimilated within organisations regardless of where they have come from and any previous learning. Induction is a common practice and basic training on the organisations take place. Newcomers are supported to adjust to their role and the organisation. Why is this happening? Organisations do this in recognition that newcomers need to feel that they are fitting in, because if they don't, they will leave, and that is costly. The COPs compared our respective induction practices and the role of knowledge, and so now over to Ethel, Linda and Ivana for that comparative analysis.
As introduced by Sushma, staff inductions are concerned with the transfer of knowledge to new joiners. The knowledge transferred is necessary for staff assimilation and utilized in role execution, both of which are vital for effective organizational performance as demonstrated by King. The induction sessions in our organizations follow a unidirectional flow of knowledge from the organization to the individual. All communicate both tacit and explicit knowledge, and they all have informal handover processes. However, differences were observed in the induction sessions. In the larger organizations, the sessions are highly structured, yet informal and loosely structured in the recruitment firm. The number of knowledge transfer channels utilized by the companies were also inconsistent. The larger organizations use a wider range of channels, with the finance firm employing the largest number, while only the finance and local government organizations use technology to facilitate their induction processes. The firms also differ in their perspective of knowledge. The transfer of explicit knowledge through intellectual processes at the finance, local government, higher education and charity reveals these organizations' objective perception of knowledge, whereas the one-to-one shadowing and contextual Q&As in the recruitment company indicates a practice-based perspective of knowledge. General satisfaction with the knowledge acquired during inductions is also contrasting. Not surprisingly, the comprehensive induction program employed by the finance firm results in a high level of satisfaction for new joiners, while fragmented induction processes and insufficient knowledge at the other four firms leads to varying levels of dissatisfaction. In conclusion, this analysis exemplifies the variation in knowledge management practices between large companies and small enterprises. I now pass you on to Ethel, who will present the strengths and weaknesses of the practices observed in our organizations.
Thank you, Linda. I'm going to talk about the strengths and weaknesses identified based on the comparative analysis we did. To identify strengths and weaknesses, we looked into the different enablers of knowledge management and knowledge transfer: people, culture, system, and governance, based on GO 2012. All of them play an important role when ensuring knowledge transfer is applied systematically and effectively to improve business results. In this case, induction and getting the newcomer up to speed, ready to own the role and work efficiently. Here you can see the different components within each of the enablers. People includes the recipient's motivation, their own absorptive capacity, and how their retentive capacity affects transfer of knowledge. The training provided to the giver and the skills also play a role. In our organizations, we found examples of using different methods that could benefit the absorption and transfer of knowledge. As Linda explained, our organizations have a variety of methods here, from formal induction programs and the use of manuals that are ideal for explicit knowledge transfer, to one-to-one meetings and shadowing, ideal for tacit knowledge sharing. On the other hand, the giver has total flexibility to choose methods, as for the majority of the organizations there was no formal handover written procedure. This takes us to systems. Again, in terms of process and procedures, only the big corporate had this in place, and the rest had semi or informal systems in place. According to Go, this is the area that is harder to develop, and that is exactly what we found in our organizations. Other organizations have some type of technology in place to support the induction process, and the receiver is trained to use those systems. An important element that supports the use of systems is culture. We all feel that there is trust and willingness to share, specifically in terms of the induction and handover processes. There were certain particularities by sector. In the financial sector, the newcomer previous knowledge sharing is limited by legislation to protect knowledge that belongs to a competitor. But apart from that, we all agreed that there was a positive approach to the flow of information, especially from business to individual, from giver to receiver. Finally, the governance element is something that most of the organizations need to address, with the majority of us rating senior management understanding and support of knowledge management in the induction 2 or 3 out of 5. Now, Iwona will cover some recommendations for building on strengths or addressing important weaknesses. Thank you very much.
As introduced by Linda and Ethel, we compare strengths and weaknesses of the knowledge transfer in our respective organizations. Whereas the process seems to be not ideal and it varies from organization to organization, the fact it takes place, either formally or informally, confirms its importance. There are enough evidences in the academic literature and real organizations that there are strong benefits of well-executed induction. A good induction creates a positive picture of the organization. New joiners are quickly brought up to date on the rules and expectations. Induction gives the new employees an objective view of the organizational culture and work ethic, which will allow them to better integrate into the workplace. Equipping the new employees with a sufficient level of tacit and explicit knowledge will make them more independent. Induction can also act as reinforcement for the newcomers that they made the right choice by coming to work for this organization. The most apparent weakness is that there is not enough emphasis given to explicit knowledge and induction as a process in our organizations. Improper induction can have a great cost for companies, resulting in poor employee effectiveness and retention. Induction can be seen as a waste of valuable time, but this is a critical process when organizations take on new employees. In order to make the induction process successful, managers should make every effort and ensure the induction is performed in the most appropriate manner. Induction process should be given sufficient level of formality and training. New joiners should be allowed to take sufficient time to find a fit and practice newly gained skills and knowledge. There is no doubt that organizations and hiring managers play a key role in the process of induction. However, is it only down to organizations to make the induction process successful? Social constructive development theories regard other learning as a self-directed process in which learners are active participants. So there is a role that newcomers have to play as well. New joiners must make sure they use the most of the opportunities to build new knowledge and understanding from the base of existing knowledge and perceptions. New joiners should be also proactive in seeking answers to the questions, concerns, and problems. During the induction, the new employees are required to absorb large volume of information. In order to make the process successful, it should take place over a number of weeks or even months. There are few key points to be addressed by organizations. Rule 1. Make sure the new employees are not overloaded. Too intensive session is likely to be ineffective. Rule 2. Decide on priorities. There are important questions to be asked here. What must be said on the new employee's first day? What can wait for the second week? Rule 3. Explain the purpose of knowing each new piece of information. Information is more likely to be well absorbed if the new employees are taught the relevance of it to their job. Rule 4. Use a variety of techniques. People have different learning styles. Some people may learn easily from written material, others may prefer to give the information verbally. Rule 5. Involve other people. It is important that the new joiner feels a part of the team and is welcomed by the colleagues. At this point, I will hand over to Marta, who will take you through our experience of working as the community of practice.
Thank you, Ivona. Now we will look at how we work together as a community of practice. The idea of community of practice was first coined by Leif and Wenger in 1990. COP refers to an informal group of practitioners who share experiences and best practice and collaborate to improve and enhance learning. As COP, we are a diverse group with wide range of experiences from different sectors, sharing common interest in knowledge management and transfer. We quickly realized that we can help one another by sharing our ideas and resources. All of us initially chose knowledge management for our individual assignments, and therefore the topic we chose to present today was strategically important and relevant to us. All members of the group contributed equally, always displaying enthusiasm and support. Our goals as a group were to learn about the importance of knowledge and knowledge sharing within organizations. We also wanted to turn implicit into explicit knowledge through group work and sharing information and experiences. We also aim to gain understanding of similarities and differences in knowledge transfer across a variety of sectors. As our working process, we used the 5-step process of appreciative inquiry as described by Lewis, Passmore and Cantor. The 5 steps are definition, discovery, dream, design, and destiny. We started with defining our goals and a working framework, and with dividing responsibilities and content between each other. Then we captured and discovered our existing knowledge by sharing experiences and perspectives on staff induction and knowledge transfer in our organizations. Due to time constraints and convenience, we chose to work mainly as a virtual community of practice and wanted this to be reflected in our presentation. We found that by working in a community of practice, we expanded on individual learning and increased information sharing. Our learning wasn't restricted to one sector, and we were able to innovate by using technology and media in a way that went beyond our usual practices. In the future, while we effectively worked virtually, we would like to meet as a group more often to discuss ideas and brainstorm. Researching our topic, we found that while organizations transfer knowledge to newcomers and socialize them into the existing culture, there rarely is a formal way of capturing the knowledge in common with the new recruit. New organizational learning can therefore be connected to how quickly individuals adjust to the existing culture before the organizations can learn from them. As a community of practice, we will next look at how organizations capture knowledge from newcomers to improve the organization itself. We will also remain as a support network for one another while we work on our individual assignments. Let us know if you have any questions by emailing us or leaving a comment below. Thank you for watching.